Good morning. Happy Monday. And I am so sleepy. Oh gosh, I have just been I've been fighting to stay awake. Oh my gosh. I slept in and I still feel exhausted. Can you believe that? Let's see. What's my low, my high? Well, my low is that I'm very sleepy, so there you go. My high is for the last Saturday before my family and I go up to Keuka Lake. I'll admit it, this was about as good of a day as I'd hoped for because I was with my family. And Sundays have been physically we've all been fine, but ever since my grandmother passed away, it felt as if something's been missing. And it's difficult to describe, just how that is, but for better or for worse, I'm glad that I was with my family yesterday because a week from now, literally quite a week from now, I will be doing this video on Memorial Day at Keuka Lake, which I, for one, am actually rather quite excited for. It's just so bizarre just how much happened from literally September 30th on. There was a lot of things that I wasn't expecting to happen. Some great, some bad. But I can safely say, well, except for the Knicks losing, that yesterday was a good day. It was. In fact, that's also part of my love. The Knicks lost. What can I say? They need a deeper bench. They need a deeper roster. You can't play three of your best players for 48 minutes at a time or something like that. Anyway, my act of kindness was I actually helped my mom make dinner yesterday. Well, I say help my mom make dinner. Really what I did was chop the salad, made that for her. So I'm glad I did that. And we had artichoke dip. We had the salad, of course. My mom made chicken tortellini soup and pot roast, which was all very, very, very good. And for dessert, we had apple pie and ice cream. Yeah, it was just a solid day. But right, it's Golden Week, so I can't even read a One Piece manga chapter. But you know what? There's one series I am doing currently, and that's the video games I grew up with. So I'm sure a lot of people are begging me to do The Legend of Zelda, and I will be getting to that. But honestly, I thought that in terms of order and stuff like that, even though technically Link from Legend of Zelda would outrank this character, I gotta go with my boy Donkey Kong, dude. I love Donkey Kong, man. Holy cow. Where to start? Well, first, he's a big ape who wears a red tie with the words DK on it. DK I was saying for Donkey Kong. Which, fun fact, when Miyamoto was coming up with Donkey Kong, he tried to come up with a different name for the word ass. And that's, yeah, because, I mean, Kong means monkey and, you know, donkey means ass, so there you go. But whether you see the connotation or not, I mean, it's Donkey Kong or DK, and he's been awesome. Now, obviously, like Mario, Donkey Kong, specifically the Donkey Kong Country games, have been platformers. And where to start then Donkey Kong Country. And when I think of Donkey Kong Country, there's technically three things I think of. I think of, you know, the dynamic that was Donkey and Diddy Kong. Specifically the fact that they're actually uncle and nephew, for those of you who don't know. I think of the iconic music from those games, of course. And for the fact that these were Super Nintendo games, the backgrounds and art and character designs were very beautiful. I mean, it's 2024. These games came out like in the early 90s. They still hold up. That's insane. And to do that on the Super Nintendo, no less. I mean, I'm sure you could probably like download these games on like the Switch or something. I think you can. I don't see how you couldn't. But man, my brother was absolutely obsessed with the Donkey Kong games. And I loved watching him play them. Because, you know, they were definitely, I mean, here's the thing. If you're a kid, then chances are, like, these games are going to be pretty hard. Because you're not going to know what to do. You don't know any better. You don't have, like, the motor skills and thinking capacity of a full-grown adult to, you know, plan everything ahead. But with that said, when you actually do beat these games, it's so incredibly rewarding. Like, I could definitely say that even in the original Donkey Kong Country, like the levels, they're challenging, but most definitely not impossible to do. Usually the only really hard, like actual level that's not a boss level is the last level of the game before you get to, you know, to the final boss. I mean, in the original Donkey Kong Country, that game was this one platform where, like, you're riding on a platform, right? And the platform has fuel. And if it runs out of fuel, the platform falls off of the rail and you die. So you have to constantly grab fuel everywhere you see it. Otherwise, you know, you die. Which was hard to do. In Donkey Kong Country 2, you know, I like to think, I know that Screech's Sprint was basically a race between this one bird named Screech and Squawks, who you become, Squawks the parrot. But personally, I would say that the harder level is the one right before that, which would be a Toxic Tower, where like you're trying to climb up the tower and like toxic waste is like rising, and if it gets to you, you die. Like, that's hard to do. In Donkey Kong Country 3, the last level was like, it's not it was like a swimming level, but here's the thing. Your controls were reversed. Like, if you wanted to go left, you had to press right. If you wanted to go right, you had to press left. I believe up and down still worked just fine. But that's what you're dealing with here. Like, again, challenging, but most definitely not impossible. And I mean, again, my brother and I love the Donkey Kong games. The music still holds up, and actually, I can't talk about the Donkey Kong Country games without talking about Donkey Kong Country Returns and Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze, which, I'll tell you what, if the original Donkey Kong Country trilogy was difficult for kids of the 90s standards, then Donkey Kong Country Returns, and especially Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze, were challenging for people of the 2010s, because that's when they came out. By which I mean, if you thought they were hard, if you thought the original trilogy was hard in the 90s, I can see why you'd say it's hard. Like, the new games are hard now. Because, I'll tell you what, you can actually buy lives in Donkey Kong Country Returns. I, at one point, had enough coins to buy, like, 70 lives. I wasted, like, half of them on one level. Like, I will admit, I could have probably played better. But still, like, that's how hard it was. And then there's Tropical Freeze. My God, Tropical Freeze. Like, I'll tell you what, it was great that they came out with the new feature on the Switch, it was the Switch, where you could play as Funky Kong, because that's essentially like easy mode. Because, a lot of people were saying Tropical Freeze was, like, stupid hard. Like, seriously. Like, I remember reading years ago of this one article regarding, like, the hardest games ever made. Tropical Freeze was on this list. And it wasn't even 6 months old yet. Like, really? I mean, here's the thing, because of my schedule at the time, I got so incredibly busy I couldn't, like, play the game all in one setting. But I very much remember at least plowing through, like, the first two worlds. I mean, I had to be careful at a few things, but, and I died my fair share of times in those games, absolutely. But, I mean, again, these games are challenging, but most definitely not impossible. You just have to have really quick button work, and you just gotta, go with whatever's in front of you. I mean, if I could rank all the Donkey Kong Country games, what would I rank them as? Well, obviously, keep in mind, this is no disrespect to, I was at, there's only 5 Donkey Kong Country games, so it's easy to do a top 5. And here's the thing, it's not like whatever's at 5 is the worst, far from it. There's never been a bad Donkey Kong Country game. There hasn't. In fact, and Donkey Kong 64. I've almost forgot about that. My brother and I played that game too. Seriously, you want collectathons, play Donkey Kong 64. I mean, my brother and I were able to collect everything, but my God, that was a lot to do. A lot to do. Plus, I'm really glad I just remember how awesome it was that we got, like, new Kongs. Like, to my knowledge, in terms of playable Donkey Kong characters, we've had Donkey, we've had Diddy, we've had Dixie, we've had Kitty, Lanky, Tiny, Chunky, Funky. That's about it, so 8. Well, technically Donkey Kong 64, it's Donkey Kong 64, not Donkey Kong Country 64. I really don't know where to put it as. Whatever. I'll just say, of the original trilogy, Diddy Kong's Quest was the... Is it Diddy's Conquest? Or... Yeah, Diddy's Conquest. That was the best of the original trilogy. Although 3 was pretty great too. All these games are great. As for the new games, Returns and Tropical Freeze, I know a lot of people aren't going to like hearing this, but Tropical Freeze took what Returns did and made it better. And Returns is already a great game anyway. So I would definitely say that Tropical Freeze is the better game. I don't know where the future of Donkey Kong is going to go from here. I mean, I'd like there to be more games, absolutely. I'd like to do... I mean, roguelike adventures are becoming more popular now. I'd like to see... Actually, I could see Sonic doing a roguelike. I could see Mario doing a roguelike. I could see Donkey Kong himself doing a roguelike. Which, I'll admit, I'm not entirely sure how roguelike works. All I know is that that format's becoming very popular in games lately. God of War Valhalla. God of War Ragnarok Valhalla. They're doing that. So, yeah. I don't really know what else I can say outside of the fact that, you know, it's a giant ape wearing a red tie. Who fights, you know, kremlings or crocodile-like creatures, or tikis, or, in the case of Tropical Freeze, what appears to be, you know, Arctic creatures. And all because they stole his bananas. It's a concept that's so simple. Well, actually, in the case of Tropical Freeze, they kicked him out of his own island. The point is, it's a concept that's so simple. But it works. It just works. You know, get yourself some well-designed characters, some unique-looking backgrounds, some awesome, memorable music. You got a home run of the series right there. I hope you all like this video. If you like, subscribe to the YouTube channel, follow me on social media. As always, I'm very homely in this video for all you guys watching. Enjoy for them. Hopefully, you have a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful Monday. And remember, if any of you guys want to talk, channel is going to be here to lend the nose your back. Take care and make good choices. 607 all day, baby.